Right now, as you're watching this video, millions of creatures are living in your house. They're in your bed, your kitchen, your bathroom, and even crawling on your skin. You can't see them, but they're there. And some of them, they're absolutely horrifying. Today, we're revealing the hidden ecosystem living inside your home, creatures you share your space with every single day without knowing it. This is going to change how you see your house forever. Let's begin. Number 1. Dust mites, your bed's invisible roommates. Let's start with your bed, the place you spend a third of your life. Right now, millions of dust mites are living in your mattress, pillows, and sheets. Dust mites are microscopic arachnids, relatives of spiders and ticks. They're so small you can't see them with the naked eye, about 0.3 millimeters long. But don't let their size fool you. A single mattress can contain anywhere from 100,000 to 10 million dust mites. What are they doing there? Feeding on you. Well, technically on your dead skin cells. Humans shed about 1.5 grams of skin every single day, and dust mites feast on this constantly available buffet. But here's the disturbing part. It's not the mites themselves that cause problems, it's their feces. Each mite produces about 20 waste pellets per day, and these pellets contain proteins that trigger allergic reactions in humans. You're literally breathing in mite droppings while you sleep. These waste particles become airborne when you move around on your bed, and they're one of the leading causes of indoor allergies and asthma. That stuffy nose you wake up with, that might be thanks to your microscopic bedmates. The worst part? You can never completely eliminate them. They thrive in warm, humid environments, exactly what your body creates when you sleep.
Number 2. Carpet beetles, the fabric destroyers. Now let's move to your carpet, that cozy flooring you walk on barefoot. Hidden in those fibers are carpet beetles and their larvae. Adult carpet beetles are small, about 2 to 4 millimeters, and often look like tiny, colorful ladybugs. You might occasionally spot one near a window, but you're more likely to never see them at all. They're excellent at staying hidden. But it's the larvae you really need to worry about. Carpet beetle larvae are small, hairy creatures that look like tiny fuzzy worms. They're the ones doing the damage in your home. These larvae feed on natural fibers, wool, silk, fur, feathers, and even the keratin in your hair and dead skin. That means they're eating your carpets, clothing, upholstery, and any other fabric-based items in your home. They're particularly fond of dark, undisturbed places like closets, under furniture, and in storage boxes. The damage they cause is sneaky. You might not notice it until you pull out a sweater and find mysterious holes, or realize your carpet has thinning patches. Unlike moths, which create more obvious damage, carpet beetles work slowly and quietly. Here's something that'll make your skin crawl. Carpet beetle larvae have been found in air ducts, wall voids, and even inside electronic equipment. They can survive for months without food, just waiting in hidden corners of your home. And if you have pets, you've got an even bigger problem. Pet hair and dander are like gourmet meals for these larvae. That fur your cat sheds, it's feeding an invisible colony right under your nose.
3. House centipedes, the predator in your bathroom. Picture this. You walk into your bathroom at night, flip on the light, and catch a glimpse of something that looks like it crawled out of a nightmare. Long, multi-legged, and moving fast across your wall. That's a house centipede. House centipedes are one of the most terrifying-looking creatures living in homes. They can have up to 15 pairs of long, delicate legs, making them look like they're floating across surfaces at incredible speeds, up to 1.3 feet per second. For their size, that's remarkably fast. They're usually yellowish-gray with 3 dark stripes running down their backs, and they can grow up to 1.5 inches long, though their legs make them appear much larger. Their bodies are flat, allowing them to squeeze into tiny cracks and crevices. Now, here's the thing. House centipedes are actually beneficial. They're predators that hunt other household pests. Those spiders, cockroaches, silverfish, bed bugs, and termites hiding in your house centipedes eat them. They're like free pest control. But beneficial or not, they're absolutely horrifying to encounter. They prefer damp areas, basements, bathrooms, and crawl spaces where they hunt at night. During the day, they hide in cracks, drains, and behind appliances. Here's what most people don't know. If you see one house centipede, there are probably more. They're solitary hunters, but their presence indicates that your home has enough prey insects to sustain them. In other words, if you've got house centipedes, you've got a bigger pest problem than you realized. And yes, they can bite humans if threatened, though it's rare.
The bite feels like a bee sting and can cause swelling and pain. Their venom is designed to paralyze their prey, and while it won't seriously harm humans, it's not pleasant. The most unsettling part? They can live for several years, and females can lay up to 60 eggs at a time. They're reproducing in your walls right now.
4. Silverfish, ancient survivors in your books. Let's talk about one of the oldest insects still living in homes, silverfish. These creatures have been around for over 400 million years. They were here before dinosaurs, and they'll probably outlast us too. Silverfish are small, wingless insects about ½ inch to 1 inch long. They're silver or pearl gray in color with a fish-like appearance, hence the name. They have 3 long bristles extending from their rear end and move in a distinctive wiggling motion that really does resemble a fish swimming. They're nocturnal, so you rarely see them during the day, but at night they come out to feed. And what do they eat? Your stuff. Specifically, anything containing polysaccharides, starches, or cellulose. That means books, papers, photographs, wallpaper, cardboard boxes, book bindings, clothing, carpet, curtains, and even the glue in your furniture. They're literally eating your memories, those old photo albums, important documents, and treasured books. They're particularly fond of bathrooms and kitchens because they need moisture to survive. You'll find them behind toilets, under sinks, in shower stalls, and in damp basements. They can squeeze through the tiniest cracks. If there's a gap, they'll find it. Here's what makes them so resilient. Silverfish can survive for weeks without food and can go up to a year without water in humid conditions. They're incredibly hard to eliminate once they've established themselves. And they also reproduce quickly. A female can lay up to 100 eggs in her lifetime, and those eggs hatch in 3 to 6 weeks depending on conditions. The population can explode before you even know they're there. And they're not just in old houses. Modern homes with central heating and plumbing create the perfect environment for silverfish. That new apartment, it probably has them too. The worst part is, their damage is often discovered too late. You pull out a box of old photos and they're stuck together from silverfish feeding on the emulsion. You grab a book and the pages crumble because silverfish have been dining on the binding for months.
5. BOOKLICE, also called SOCIDs, the humidity indicators. Now we're getting into creatures most people have never even heard of. BOOKLICE, also called SOCIDs. Despite the name, they're not actually lice. They're tiny insects that don't bite humans or animals. BOOKLICE are absolutely tiny, usually 1 to 2 millimeters long, about the size of a pinhead. They're nearly translucent, which makes them almost invisible unless you're looking closely. You might mistake them for specks of dust until you realize those specks are moving. They thrive in humid environments and feed on microscopic mold, fungi, and organic matter. This is important. If you have BOOKLICE, you have a moisture problem. They're essentially living humidity detectors in your home. Where do they hide? Everywhere. They're commonly found in books, especially old ones stored in damp conditions, stored food products, wallpaper, windowsills, furniture, under carpet edges, and in cardboard boxes. They're particularly common in new construction homes where lumber hasn't fully dried. They reproduce rapidly. A female can lay 20 to 50 eggs, and in warm, humid conditions, a new generation can develop in just 2 to 4 weeks. This means populations can explode quickly if conditions are right. Here's what's unsettling. You've probably seen them and dismissed them as dust or debris. They move slowly and are so small that most people don't recognize them as living creatures. But if you look closely at a windowsill or bookshelf in a humid room, you might see dozens of tiny moving specks. They're often found in food storage areas, flour, cereals, grains, and other dry goods. While they don't contaminate food in the way some pests do, finding them in your pantry is a sign that moisture has gotten into your food storage. The good news is they're harmless to humans and don't damage materials the way silverfish do. The bad news is their presence means you have hidden moisture or mold problems, potentially serious issues that could damage your home's structure or affect your health.
Number 6. Drain flies, breeding in your pipes. Let's move to one of the most disgusting hidden ecosystems in your home, your drains. Living there right now are drain flies, also called moth flies or sewer flies. Drain flies are small, about 1/8 inch long, but easily recognizable. They're covered in tiny hairs that give them a fuzzy, moth-like appearance. They're usually gray or tan and have large, distinctive wings that they hold over their bodies like a roof. You'll typically spot them resting on bathroom or kitchen walls near drains, but what you're seeing is just the tip of the iceberg. The real population lives inside your drains. Here's where it gets gross. Drain flies lay their eggs in the organic slime that builds up inside drains, garbage disposals, and sewer lines. This slime, made of soap scum, hair, grease, bacteria, and decomposing organic matter, is where the larvae develop. Each female can lay 30 to 100 eggs at a time, and these eggs hatch in just 32 to 48 hours. The larvae feed on the bacteria and organic matter in the slime for 9 to 15 days before emerging as adults. The entire life cycle takes only about 2 weeks. This means there's a constant breeding population living in your drains, feeding on the disgusting biofilm coating your pipes. Every time you use the sink or shower, you're disturbing their habitat, but they just rebuild it. The larvae are aquatic, surviving in the liquid and semi-liquid environment of your drain system. They can even survive in the water traps of floor drains, shower drains, and rarely used sinks. Here's the worst part. Drain flies can carry bacteria from the sewage they live in. While they're not known to bite or directly transmit diseases, they can mechanically transfer bacteria to food or surfaces in your home. And they're incredibly persistent. Even if you kill all the adult flies you see, the larvae in the drains will just produce more. The only way to eliminate them is to remove the organic buildup they're breeding in, and that requires serious cleaning of your entire drain system. If you've ever noticed small, fuzzy flies appearing near your drains, no matter how often you clean, now you know why. They're not coming from outside, they're being born in your pipes.
Number 7. Mold mites, feeding on fungus among us. Where there's moisture and mold, there are mold mites. And most homes have mold somewhere, which means most homes have these microscopic creatures. Mold mites are incredibly tiny, only about 0.03 millimeters long. They're completely invisible to the naked eye. You'd need a magnifying glass or microscope to see them, but they're there, often in massive numbers. They feed exclusively on mold and fungi, so anywhere you have mildew or mold growth, in bathrooms, basements, around windows, in air conditioning units, on damp walls, and closets, you likely have mold mites. These creatures reproduce extremely quickly. In ideal conditions, their entire life cycle from egg to adult takes only 9 to 11 days, and females can produce up to 500 eggs in their lifetime. This means populations can reach staggering numbers very quickly. The real problem with mold mites isn't the mites themselves, it's what their presence indicates. They only exist where there's mold, so finding them means you have a mold problem. And mold can cause serious health issues, especially for people with allergies, asthma, or compromised immune systems. Mold mites themselves can also trigger allergic reactions. Their shed skins and feces become airborne and can cause respiratory problems, skin irritation, and allergic symptoms. People often attribute these symptoms to the mold itself, not realizing the mites are contributing to the problem. They're particularly common in homes with poor ventilation, water damage, or high humidity. That damp smell in your basement? That's mold. And where there's mold, there are mites, potentially millions of them. Here's what's truly unsettling. You can have a significant mold mite infestation and never see a single one. They're eating mold in your walls, under your flooring, in your HVAC system, and in other hidden areas. The only sign might be worsening allergy symptoms or that persistent, musty smell. And, like dust mites, you can never fully eliminate them. As long as there's any mold or moisture in your home, they'll be there, invisible and constantly reproducing.
So there you have it. Right now, your home is teeming with life you can't see. Millions of dust mites in your bed, carpet beetles in your closet, house centipedes hunting in your basement, silverfish eating your books, book lice indicating hidden moisture, drain flies breeding in your pipes, and mold mites wherever there's fungus. The truth is, humans have never lived alone. We've always shared our spaces with these creatures, and we always will. Your home isn't just your castle, it's an entire ecosystem. But here's what you can do. Control humidity. Most of these creatures need moisture. Clean regularly, especially vacuuming and washing bedding. Fix leaks immediately. Ensure good ventilation. Clean your drains monthly, and store items properly. You can't eliminate these creatures entirely, but you can keep their populations under control. The key is understanding that they're there and taking preventative measures. The real question is, how does it feel knowing you're never truly alone in your home? These creatures have been living with humans for thousands of years, and they'll be here long after we're gone. Sweet dreams tonight when you climb into bed with your millions of dust mite roommates. Which of these hidden creatures disturbed you most? Let us know in the comments. And if this opened your eyes to what's really in your home, hit that like button and subscribe for more eye-opening wildlife content. Thanks for watching, and remember, you're never alone.